Alright, now, what I had to do here was take this pickle fork, which is a ball joint separator fork, and I had to wedge it in between the bottom part of the bolt part that goes through the upper arm of the spindle, and wedge it in there and hit it with a hammer and pry that loose. So, because it usually sticks right here in the top part of the upper hole of this. After I got it done, it was a little time in between. I had to do something else, take care of something else. So you can either take zip ties or a piece of wire, just anything to hold it up out of the way, and run it through this center bolt hole, ball joint bolt hole, to hold this spindle arm out of the way so it won't fall. See, it's just kind of hanging there, and you don't want it to fall because it put a bunch of pressure on the brake line, the rubber hose where it fits the metal, and it's liable to snatch it completely off of there, make your brake line leak, and can cause other problems with other things in here, like you see the axle boot and stuff. But now that we've got that part out of the way, though, and we've got the pickle fork used to separate that and get it loose, now we're going to take a ball joint master press and press the old ball joint out of the upper control arm, and once we get the old one out, we're going to press the new one in. And when at all times possible, I suggest when you're buying parts, it's a good thing to, when at all times when you're buying parts, new parts to go back into a project, especially like suspension parts, stuff like that, especially suspension parts, if you'll find out if they come with a grease fitting. This allows you to pump grease into the actual ball joint of this, and it'll help it keep from wearing out quicker than it normally would. So at all times, you know. And this one come with the Carter key, the ring clip. Hey, let me get them out of this plastic package here. Okay, this one came with the Carter key, the ring clip to hold it in place once you get it put into the AR, and 90-degree angle grease fitting. Once you get it installed, you put your grease fitting in and fill it full of grease. Fill this full of grease, and that'll fill you rubber dust cover and your joint there where your ball joint is full of grease.
So why does it matter if you get one with the grease fitting?
It just it'll allow you to pump grease into it and extend the life of the actual part that you're putting on. This also came with this neat little plastic jacket that helps press the ball joint dust cover and the grease cap cover in place with a. After you get it installed, you just pop this up on here. See how it's not seated? The rubber's not seated all the way up onto the ball joint. So you can see actually the joint, the ball and the socket that it sits in down in there. But anyway, it allows you to push it up on there, and to get it seated right, once you get it installed, you can take this, put this cup over it, and you pop it with a hammer, and it pushes the rubber cover back up on there where it's supposed to be. But yeah, and this part was only $4 higher. You know, a lot of times if you'll check, the better premium part won't cost that much more. You know, sometimes just a few dollars more than what you'd spend on a part without a grease fitting. You know, just something to think about. I had to go get a master cup set to go along with this ball joint press, but with doing that, I got the right size cup that I needed to put on the upper part of this upper control arm and fit snugly over top of it, this collar where the ball joint seats down in, and I was able to press it out of that collar in the upper control arm. Now, when installing the new one, see how it's got grooves in this? That's going to help seat it into position to hold it where it needs to be in there. and then hold it in place so it doesn't fall back out or pop back out. That's what this ring clamp is. I'm looking for the hole to line up so this car will keep in. We'll slide through. So you gotta get eyeballs view up in there. You gotta get one of the slotted spaces in the nut to where it turns. See, there's a hole right there through the center of the bolt. It's gonna take a couple more turns. There you go.
I don't do it.
You gotta bend this car key with these nail nose pliers.
No. Okay.
Does it look like it's seated all the way up around it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Are you filming?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let go. I put the bottle jack under there so I could jack it. Yeah, talking to the camera. Now I need that wrench I had. See how it's pressing in there slowly but surely. It just takes a little muscle of doing it over and over, readjusting it, clamping it back down, pressing a few turns, and you can see I got plenty of leverage with this big wrench. The idea is to be able to get onto it with the impact and the right side socket on the bottom of this. But when I got this tool, the bottom where the socket fits on was all warbled and not warbled, all eat up and boogered up, and the socket wouldn't fit on it. I can't even get a wrench to fit on it right because it's been so twisted up and mistreated, the tool has. So I ain't had no choice but to use this. But the idea, way is to use an impact wrench. Get the room like right there here. I could have got enough room to get up in here to get on it to do that. So I'm just having to struggle with a big wrench, or with a big crescent wrench. Which goes to show you, you don't always have to have fancy tools to get something done. You can feel it as it goes. The more it starts to go in and seat, the easier it gets to turn the actual bolt on this, the clamp on it.
Luna, don't hit her with that, baby. Luna, Luna, come on back over here.
And yeah, actually it needs to go a little bit farther, but it's closer. See, you got a little bit of lip on the top of the collar. You want to make sure you get that down a little bit farther because you've got a snap ring that goes in right here on the bottom side. You can pause it now.